Hey, welcome back guys. So today on this video, we are talking about Capital One credit cards, and more specifically, I'm going to try to answer the question that I've been getting a lot lately, and that is, can you delete your transaction history from your Capital One credit card account? So let's go ahead and talk about this, guys. First off, this is going to be a really short video, not a lot to talk about on this, so be sure to stick around to the end. So why would you want to delete the transaction history on your Capital One credit card? Well, that's a pretty easy question to answer. Maybe you bought something that you weren't supposed to, or maybe you went out to dinner with somebody else and your significant other found out, or possibly you bought something illegal with your Capital One credit card and law enforcement is looking for that transaction. Whatever the case is, that's a pretty common question to get now. And the short answer is no, you cannot delete your Capital One credit card transaction history. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. The most important reason is because Capital One is a large banking institution. And because of that, they do need to abide by federal guidelines, and federal rules apply and require Capital One to keep your transaction history. So it's not like an email account where you can just delete emails. The transaction history stays with the account as long as it's open. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do if you want to try to hide transactions from certain people, and I'm going to go over those different options right now. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and shred your Capital One credit card paper statements that are laying around the house. So if you have a nosy significant other and they're looking through your statements and you don't want that to happen, be sure to shred those statements, and that can help hide a few of the transactions. The second thing you want to do is maybe delete your Capital One credit card's app, because if they have access to the app and they log in, whether it be with your thumb or Face ID or maybe your username and password, it would allow them to look through your transaction history on the Capital One app. So if you delete the app, it's just going to make it that much more difficult for them to look through your transaction history on your Capital One credit card. But here's the thing, guys. If you're trying to hide a transaction from law enforcement or from the courts, even if you delete the app, even if you shred your Capital One credit card statements, Capital One is still going to have those records in their servers somewhere. So once again, if you delete the app and shred your statements, if the courts subpoena Capital One credit cards, or if law enforcement subpoenas Capital One credit cards for your transaction history, Capital One could be compelled to give that information to them. So if you bought something illegal with your Capital One credit card and you're trying to hide it from the government, the chances of that are very small. So again, to answer the question, can you delete your transaction history on your Capital One credit card? The answer is basically no, you cannot at this time, but you can take those few steps to try to hide the transactions if it's somebody else who's looking for that information. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.